Can you please talk to us about how public schools fit into your vision for the implementation of the IRA and the infrastructure bill? My understanding is that there was much more demand than could be accommodated, including from my district for the first round of funding from the Renew American Schools program. Schools are also eligible for some tax credits, but many will need technical support and bridge financing. I would love to hear what efforts are happening at DOE and in coordination with other agencies to help public schools take full advantage of all relevant funding opportunities in these bills.
Great. This is absolutely a priority. Thank you so much for this question. I think what we saw from the first round of funding was it was wildly popular. We had over 1,000 applications, and we could only fund 24 selections. And the need is enormous. And so, you know, that was the first round. There will be another round, but there is no way that we will have enough money to fill the need that is clearly out there. So we'd love to come back and make sure that this particular program is in fact funded to the extent to meet the demand that is out there, because I think it is so vital for schools that want to be making sure that they're obviously teaching children in environments that are clean, environments that are not causing asthma, environments. I was in Tennessee just quickly, and Memphis at one of the schools that won. And the school itself had windows that were so dark from pollution that part of their Renew grant was just to replace windows so kids could see out. It was a 100-degree day. Their air conditioning wasn't working. No kids can work in an environment where they're forced to work at 100-degree heat boxes. The lighting was horrible. They didn't have they didn't have any science lab in the school. So this school got some money to be able to do that. It was overwhelming how moving it was to be able to see the teachers and the students who were so thrilled that their school was actually going to be a place that they wanted to be able to learn about. So that's just one example. I know it is happening all across the country, and this demand is huge.
Can you speak to a dollar amount? Like, how much do you think we are going to need to really invest in our public school infrastructure over the next decade, let's say? Because you mentioned a few challenges, but public schools have been falling apart across the country for many, many years.
Yeah, 100%. Just on this, I mean, we were given $500 million under the bipartisan infrastructure law. We did the first round. It's $178 million. We did 24 schools. So you can imagine it is exponentially larger than what we have.
Got it. Thank you. I also wanted to bring up the United Auto Workers are on the verge of going on strike as soon as tomorrow, which is obviously can be devastating to the economy. In part, that is because the big three auto companies, according to the United Auto Workers, are using the EV transition and public subsidies as a weapon to slash wages and labor protections. We are also seeing that across the country, and certainly in my district in Westchester County in the Bronx, New York, Black and brown communities are struggling to build the capacity and infrastructure to compete for climate and R&D funding. What is your overall assessment of how we are doing when it comes to centering workers in our most vulnerable communities in the clean energy transition right now? Where are we doing well, and where do we need to do better?
Yeah, I think this is a really important question, because the tax credits that companies take advantage of don't have the strings attached to them. The grants that we can provide require these community benefit agreements, which we can negotiate with companies. So in some instances, we have more leverage as a nation than in others. But I think the whole point is that we want to create a clean energy economy which has good paying quality jobs for people, and that all pockets of the country can benefit. And that's why when I say there's all kinds of jobs for all kinds of people, this energy economy does give an opportunity for people to really have a job that can't be outsourced, because the energy is produced here, it's clean, it's homegrown. For us, we have a whole clean energy jobs office, and we are projecting in terms of job growth, enormous job growth, but we want to make sure they're good jobs. And that's why continuing to push and to pressure to make sure that the wages, and frankly, with the low unemployment rate, there is some incentive to raise wages, but we want to make sure that these are good wages. We require prevailing wage on our grants, which is very important. We require a pathway for workforce, which is very important. There's an incentive embedded in the bills for paid apprenticeships, which is very important. So all of those are keys, I think, to remedying inequality.
Absolutely. Thank you, Madam Secretary. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. We'll hear next from my